Let's check out the Citizen ProMaster NY0040-09e. This is probably one of the top competitors against the Seiko SKX for many reasons, and from everything I read and have seen throughout my few years that I've been watching these two watches, it seems like the majority of the people end up picking the SKX, but then there's quite a few people that actually pick the Citizen over the SKX and then are just as passionate about this watch as they are the SKX. And I can see why. The applied indices, the uniqueness of the crown being over here at the 8 o'clock, pretty wild. And then the bezel action, it's only a 60 click, but it is solid. Like, there is like no play. It's maybe not as refined and nice to operate as some of the bezels that you've seen on other watches, but there's also something very satisfying in knowing that it lines up perfectly. It's like the perfect amount of tension, and it's like when you operate it, you know that this is a bezel that just straight up works, even though it might not be as pleasurable to play with. So it's gratifying, I think, in the aspect of it being a true tool watch and a dive watch too, because it is a 200-meter dive watch. So this particular one comes on this strap here, and it's a good strap. It's very heavy duty. I think it's going to last a long time, but it's not necessarily comfortable as some of you see these newer straps that manufacturers are putting out. So I sourced through eBay for $33 shipped this bracelet, which is the stock bracelet for this basic same watch, but it has a different number at the end. So instead of 09E, it has 09W, and you basically can't find those watches hardly. So, and it's a pretty cheap bracelet. It has the hollow end links, and it took me a few minutes to get it installed. It is kind of a pain in the butt to install, and it has some like sharp edges and everything, but it's a good enough bracelet, and it matches the watch really good. So, and it's $33, so you definitely want to pick that up, I think, if you want to have this watch. It has good lines. The grip on the bezel is just perfect, and then on the dial, this is one of the only watches, I don't know if I can display it, but the dial itself is like not quite as glossy black as the Seamaster I had, but it's really close, where almost everybody else does more of a satin or a matte black. This is more glossy looking, and that in the combination with the applied indices, I think work really good. I think visually, I think it just looks better to me than a printed on dial. But, that's personal preference a lot of times. And there they are side by side. So you can tell it's a touch smaller, and I'll give you some measurements here in a moment. But it has the day date complication on it. And it has a nice screw down crown. It is not hackable, but it is windable. I don't know if you can hear that. So, it's a robust watch, and it was keeping really good time. A little bit of history on this actual watch. This was a tour watch. I believe this was the second tour I ever started, and this was back when I was on the Urban Gentry group, Facebook group, when the one that TGV runs, and I forget how many of us did it. I have the list somewhere. But this was sent around the U.S., and it might only been like 7 of us or whatever. And then at the end, it was gifted to TGV, and then he sold it or raffled it. I can't remember how he did it or whatever. But my friend Patrick ended up with this watch, and somehow we connected on the IWA Facebook group, and he had mentioned that this was the watch that he bought from TGV that was a tour watch, and I was like, oh dang! So I kind of wanted it back. So I'm currently in the process of purchasing it from Patrick. So thanks, Pat, for getting this in a weird roundabout way back to me. So I think this is one that I might not wear it a ton, but I kind of wanted in my collection. The first watch I toured was actually an SKX, but it was the 009, so the blue one, not this one. And I have no idea where that watch is. So it would be kind of cool to have that one back too, but not that I'm a sentimental guy, but it's just something cool, I think, something neat that I did, and it's cool to have it back after going through all the people. So there is one complaint, and this is something that a lot of the watch fans say, that once you see it, you can't unseen it. So if you don't want the watch ruined, shut it off right now. And I'm going to tell you what that is in 3, 2, 1. This is look like a pair of underpants. So you have underpants at the 12. Now that you've seen that, you can't unsee that. So sorry if I ruined it for you. I don't really care. I don't have a problem with it. I think overall the watch looks great. No sign on the crown. It's a basic watch. I mean, because I remember when I bought this for the tour, which has been a couple years or whatever, I think I paid like $130 for it, and that was on that other strap or whatever. And it shipped from I don't know where, not from the U.S. It came from another country. So, and currently, I just looked on eBay. That's about the only place I see them for sale, unless you randomly find them on a forum or a Facebook group. But they range in the sold. If you look up on eBay, under what they've actually sold for, they range in price all the way from like $100 all the way to $200. So their prices are steadily climbing, because some of those are even used. Used, you might get them for around $100. But if you're looking at them new, you're going to be up around the $200, and that's without the bracelet. But there is a guy on eBay, seems like he's selling a ton of these bracelets, and it's 20 millimeter lug width. So I'm not going to give you that measurement on my calipers, but that is a 20 mil, and it tapers down to an 18 millimeter. And then the bracelet's actually fairly thin. It's only, I think it's 3 millimeter. That's what the description said, but I'll confirm that real quick. It's 3.5 millimeter. They say 3 in the description, but it's 3.5. So let's get a quick measurement on the thickness. 12.2. It's a thin watch. It wears really good. So I believe we're looking at 41.5. So that's like the same size as like a Speedmaster. And then or not a Speedmaster, a Seamaster. You guys know what I mean. Don't listen to what I say. Know what I mean. 47.8. So this fits a lot of smaller wrist guys. And I haven't sized the bracelet yet, but I will throw it on my 7.25, because I just put this bracelet on. I was wearing it on the handy mesh that I always use, but I'll throw this on my 7.25 so you can see it. I think when you get it on a bracelet with the fitted end links, I think even with the larger wrist, or I don't know if mine's larger or average, 7.25, I think it just feels and looks way better than it does with the contrasting black strap, or even the mesh where it has the straight end link coming across. So when it's more fitted like this, I think it just flows better and it looks better on wrist, and it's still low profile. Even the SKX, that's thicker. That's 13.5. So you're talking, this guy's a whole millimeter smaller in dimensions. And I don't know, I'm kind of on a kick lately where I'm wearing the smaller watches and really liking them. This last week or so I've been wearing this. So I will do a review on this real quick here soon too. But I wanted to get this out there, and big thanks to Pat for hooking me up with this. And I don't think I'm going to be sending it back. I think I'm going to send you a little bit of PayPal and go ahead and keep this guy. So there's a quick look at it, and I'm sure it'll pop up in some other videos. I will most likely do a more of like a versus style, because I think these two are definitely competitors, and approximately still the same price. So definitely going to happen soon, a versus on these two guys. So let me know what you guys think about this Citizen. Pros, cons, likes, dislikes, if you guys have owned one. But I got to tell you that bezel is, like I said, it's not super nice to handle, but if you're a mechanical type person, you realize the precision of that and how nice it is to just thunk, place, and stay in that place. And then the grip on it, everything just works. And it's tight fitting to the case too. So There you go. Let me know what you guys think.